Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back in the video, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my full gun ace slot mini scheme. Now this is definitely one of the most underrated and underappreciated offenses this year. I'm going to show you guys how I use it to dominate, and you guys have already seen from the first 5 clips or so, this is a very high powered offense, both in the run game and the pass, but primarily what opens up the pass is going to be the run plays. So I'm going to start off with those. First things first, you obviously have your 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, very similar to the ace slot offset. Only difference is that a running back is directly on our hip rather than off-centered or offset. So with that being said, let's go ahead, hop into our audibles. Now, probably the best play out of the whole formation, or at least the best run play, is going to be this QB power. Super good run play. I like to have read option, obviously. This is going to be a scheme for a mobile type of a QB. Couple of abilities I recommend on your quarterback are the fast break ability, just so that you don't fumble, and the escape artist, obviously. Now, anyways, here's a look at our audibles. We got post, smash, read option, and QB power. With that being said, let's hop into our QB power first. And yeah, like I said, this is going to be more of a running formation, and this is where I think it is a little bit different than the ace slot offset. A lot of people like to pass out of that, but really what you should do with these formations is you should, try and run the ball first out of the formation, because it makes it so much easier to pass when you do that. So anyways, when you run this, primarily what you want is your receivers to be on the wide side of the field. Now, the good thing about this specific formation is it's going to be kind of a headache to defend for your opponent. What I mean by that is, does he come out and run defense? Does he come out and pass defense? Does he run big nickel over G? Even I've had people even run 1-4-6. So lucky for us, or unlucky for you, if you run this formation, tons of people when they run this are actually just coming out straight up and trying to send 7 at you. So if they send 7, all I like to do is just flip my run, and sometimes that guy will get picked up, sometimes he won't, but it's going to be it's a very interesting formation with all these run flips and stuff like that. So you're going to want to pay attention carefully. So again, you guys saw that player didn't get blocked, that outside linebacker. So what you're going to do is you don't flip your run. You keep your run, you keep that pulling guard to the right, but then you still run to the left. And look, that makes completely all the difference. No more tackle for loss in the backfield. And yes, I know we did outrun him the first play, but typically in Ultimate Team, in these other game modes, you're not going to be able to outrun just any outside linebacker. So that's the first tip. So even if I want to run to the left, I don't have to go ahead and flip my run. You guys saw I flipped my run the first play, and for whatever reason, Mark Andrews just will not block this outside linebacker. I've tried everything and I just can't get him to, so the only way that he can is if you keep your run to the right. Something else that I like to do is just put my running back over here, because sometimes he just helps. I feel like it makes the run a little bit stronger, but you guys see so much space to the left side. And also, if you want to come out and you are really dedicated to running the football every play, something that you could go ahead and do is just sub out these 2 wide receivers for tight ends. So if you see your opponent, he's struggling to stop you in the run, he cannot, you're getting 5+ a carry. I would say don't even go to the pass, just put tight ends in and continue to pound the rock. So obviously, if your opponent, he doesn't base a line, then you can go ahead and flip your run play. Now, flipping your run play is still pretty bad, and that's where you really just don't want to flip it, just because it completely messes things up. So here, if they don't base a line, I still want to non-flip my run play. And obviously the block shed there was the difference, but if that block is held, then we're off to the races. Now, you can also go ahead and run it to the right side. Now, the right side run is going to be something I usually like to keep in my bag, just because it is going to be pretty inconsistent. It's going to come down to the certain type of run play. So let's say they come out in a man coverage look and they run something like this where they're man aligned. And then maybe they're using him because they expect, your 2 receivers to be on routes, and then they're just going to user your tight end or whatever. This is one of those cases where you can actually go ahead and run it to the right. But what you can still do, even if you want to run to the right, is you can actually flip your run to the left. So I can run it like this, and that's going to be completely the difference. So what we have learned so far in running this offense is that what you want to do is you want to flip your run to the opposite side you're running, as that is with every blast. So again, I'm running to the left side. I want to go to the left, so I'm going to keep my run to the right. And even though it's a power, it works the same as a QB blast. So again, You have, let's say they go to man coverage. I face this look a ton, especially against this formation, because they don't want to leave just the flats wide open. They want to leave our boy Willie Snead uncovered. So again, what you're going to do, oh, I'm running to the right, so why are you flipping to the left? Oh, just take a look at the blocking. That tight end just picks up a perfect block, and I know we weren't using anybody, but still, all you can really ask for with this offense is a one-on-one in the open field. So again, just super, super strong play. Again, I'll try and show it against a new formation here. Let's hop into the big nickel over G. Again, one last time, I'm actually going to show you guys something different that I like to do. And the other way that I like to run is I'm going to run to the right, so I'm going to flip my run to the left. I like to actually motion this slot receiver over. This is just going to be another blocker, and it's just going to really help a little bit. You guys see, even if he just doesn't do anything, can still be a pretty good distraction. So again, even if I wanted to go ahead and keep my run to the right, this is also going to distract it. Even if I wanted to still run to the left side, this could be a good distraction to really make his user think about it. So let's say I'm running it to the left, I motion him over, his user thinks I'm going that way, I'm still able to run it to this side and pick up a decent gain. So with that being said, let's hop into our next set of plays. Let's go with a pass play. Now post is going to be a very interesting play, because like I said, I usually like to be on this hash mark, have my receivers on the wide side, but for this play, and this is the really only exception, you want to be on this hash. You want your receivers to be on the short side. So again, this is going to be beat cover 3, and it can beat cover 2. You guys saw one of those clips in the beginning. I think it was the Cowboys clip where I faced the Cowboys, or actually it was the Bills clip. So I was able to split the cover 2 with that deep post. So anyways, the setup for this, I always like to block my running back. I like to get that chop block. That's me personally. Can go ahead and roll out, release that ball, and Lamar obviously missed the mark on that one. But you guys can see the separation we had, and the reason that you have to run it on the short side, just in case you were wondering, is just because Hollywood Brown stops his route for whatever reason. I guess it's a little bit too long developing. He will just stop his route, and it's just not going to work. Trust me, I've tried it. But again, you're just going to roll out here and pass lead all the way to the right. You guys see he's going to be completely wide open against cover 3. And you can max protect. You can do whatever you want. Probably my favorite setup is just going to be a block 7 setup, where I block my running back, block this flat route, and then I like to motion Snead over, because you can't have his user follow that deep post, or obviously it's not going to work. You want him to bait down on maybe that play with Willie Snead, that route with Willie Snead, and that's going to open us up for Hollywood Brown. So that's cover 3. You guys seen it worked. I showed a couple of different setups. Now let's talk about a cover 2 setup. So cover 2, the way you're going to beat cover 2 is going to motion Hollywood Brown over. So again, I'm just going to block my running back. And typically what I like to do is run something like this. So I have A on a streak, B on a deep dig, and then X on his deep post. I'm going to go ahead and motion him over, and he should be able to get over that cloud flat now. Again, we're just going to roll out. Look at that, wide open over the cloud flat. Super difficult to defend. Now, the best way that I like to defend these types of formations is just run a cover 3 on the right side in this case, and a cover 2 on the left. Super solid defense. But if your opponent sticks in cover 2, which a lot of people will, this works against cover 2 sink, whatever, as well. And you can also go with a max protect. This is definitely the best max protect setup in my opinion. But again, this deep post is going to be very difficult for your opponent to defend. And you guys see, that time I was stuck in a cover 3, so it's going to be defended. But if he's in a cover 3, you'll be able to tell based on the safeties look and based on what he's continuing to call every single play. So that shouldn't be too difficult. So again, let's say they're in cover 2. One last time, here's a look at our setup. All you need is A on that clear out. You don't even necessarily need him. I could put him on in route and I could still get it open, but it's going to be just a little bit better if you do. Because look how it is a little bit covered. It's still open, but it's covered a lot more. And potentially, maybe with the zoned out player, you might make a break on that football. So that's going to take us to our next play. It's going to be read option. I know I've taken a lot of time, but those are the two most important plays that posts and that QB power. So, alright, with that being said, let's hop into this read option. Now, the read option is going to be a little bit interesting. Read option, it's not my favorite play, but it can be very good in timely manners. You guys saw, it works for me a little bit. My average per yards isn't the highest, but it can be good just to stick with. So again, usually when I run this read option, this is something that you kind of have to do when you run the read option / the inside zone. Obviously, you could run either. The read option is just going to be a little bit more deadly. So you guys saw, what I did is I motioned Hollywood Brown all the way to the inside, and I motion hiked him right about there. For whatever reason, that's just the way that I found to get the best blocking up the middle. And obviously, if you're trying to, get the big hitter plays, you really want to keep this with Lamar Jackson, which sometimes you can, but a lot of times people will just play the run just because you have Lamar and you can't get it open. But right there, look at that. If you can get it open, you can get yourself one-on-one in the open field with the MVP. It's going to be a GG at that point. But really, I don't call this run too much. I am definitely more of a power guy myself, halfback, the quarterback power. But this run can be very good. And it's also good to keep someone honest if they're in a nickel normal. Because look at the blocks right there. We just have really good blocks up the middle. It's a really good up the middle base run if you're trying to get to the numbers. So take a look. I'll try and run to the outside here. It's really not the best run. You saw it. 3 yards, 2 yards. But when I try and cut that downhill up the middle, it's really the best run. You could really motion either of those receivers. I've just had better success with that guy sort of looping, and he picks up a really good block there. This is one of the rare cases where that looping motion block animation, motion snap animation really does help. Again, you could do this with Snead, and he still does do the same thing, but like I said, I personally have better success with Hollywood Brown. So again, all you're doing is reading that player, and you can really just continue to pound this unless he's going to get out of the coverage or get it out of his defense. And if he's continuing to play the run, hand it off every time for your 5 yards. But anyways, that's going to take us to our last play, this smash play. Now, smash, it's going to be a very, again, similar to the post play. It's going to be a cover 2 beater type of a defense. So again, there's going to be one of 2 different ways we like to run it. The first way I like to run it is really with this route with Willie Snead. He's going to open it up. So what you're going to do, and this is my first setup, you're going to run something like this. You have pretty much this little seam route, which don't sleep on the seam route. You can be open. Obviously, the mid-read will do a good job, but against maybe a cover 3, if you have streak specialists or whatever the case is, this route can be sneaky deadly. Now, again, what I like to do with this tight end is put him on a dig route, and I like to smart route it, and then you have this corner route to dig. Can't cover them both. So again, I'm just going to snap it, and I'm going to roll out against cover 2. Sometimes it will be open, sometimes it won't. So you really do kind of have to be careful, but the way that I like to do it, to get it, completely open, and usually they'll press as well, so that might have been a reason, but I like to actually motion this player. So you guys see it wasn't open. So you're going to motion Willie Snead inside a little bit, and that's probably going to do the trick for you. So again, you could also go ahead and smart route him to get him a little bit deeper. That's something that I forgot to mention that you should definitely do. Smart route him, that's just RB. But motion him in a couple of steps, you're going to roll out, and then you guys see, boom, now he's completely over the top. We did get a bad throw there, but you guys can tell, wide open. So again, that first time what I forgot to do was smart route him. Again, I could just smart out, put X on your streak, put him on your clear out route, and you should be good to go. And you can really snap this pretty quickly. Something else you could do is just put A on a little drag or a just classic deep dig. But look at that. With the smart routed, with the difference, he's going to be wide open. And it's a really good play just because this isn't, the most corner route oriented offense. This is more of a slower paced offense with the occasional big splash play. But if your opponent's in a cover 2, I showed you guys 2 setups that will absolutely torch him. And again, make sure that you continue to run the ball. You can just run it up the gut, take 3 yards every play, because eventually you're going to break one big. And trust me, it's going to tear your opponent down. He's just going to get so sick. He's going to come out, and probably the best defense I've found to defend this formation myself was 3-3-5 wide. It's not the best pass D, but it's probably the most balanced to defend both the pass and the run. Again, all you got to remember, stay on conservative, and you are good to go. So that's going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. On the road to 10K subs, make sure you are subscribed if you're loving the content, and peace. I'm out of here.